Hi, Brian James here on my path to Paphos, and welcome to the channel. I'm a dual national Irish cum Brit who permanently moved to the island of Cyprus in April 2025 and settled here on the beautiful part of the island called Paphos. And today I was going to do some fantastic things. I was going to go out with the camera and I was going to take some lovely shots. And it's raining. You can probably hear it. Can you hear that? Fall on the canopy? Yeah. Well, it's pouring down the rain, and that's why you've got this backdrop behind me. And somebody complained about the backdrop being drab. That's not drab, that's my French windows. But I normally sit around the other side of the table. I'm sitting on my patio, and I usually sit around the other side of the table. I'll give you a swing round, just bear with me. Having that more of that sort of view, but it's pouring rain, and I'm not going to do that because I'll get soaked. So what I decided to do is I'm going to do a quick catch-up video, a few bits and pieces that I've learned along the way, and a few catch-ups on the videos that we've done. Now, first of all, if you're not a subscriber, please consider it. Give us a thumbs up, a subscribe. It makes a big difference to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and you know, it just makes things so much better. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed, all 2,850 of you, or something like that. It's slowly going up, and I appreciate that. However, I did a video recently for my 5 things that I missed from the UK, and basically there wasn't any. I did a tongue-in-cheek sort of video where there was just nothing I could report. I did say about HP sauce, which of course is here in plentiful amounts, and that prompted me to prompted someone to give me a message to say, Branson Pickle. Do you know what? They're right. I haven't seen Branson Pickle anywhere. I love Branson Pickle. I love it on salads. I love cooking with it as well. It's really good. And there's no Branson Pickle that I can find anywhere. So if you know anywhere in the Paphos area which sells Branson Pickle without it costing an arm and a leg, please let me know where, because I'll go and get some. I love this stuff. So I'm missing my Branson Pickle. So we've got one thing. That's one thing which is good. I've had a lot of really positive comments. If you remember, I also did a video where I'd said I'd cancelled a video I'd made, which was responding to the trolls and the negative people. Far too many trolls and negative people out there. And I did that video, but I decided not to produce it. I produced another one explaining why I didn't do it, because I was just going to be as bad and as negative as those people themselves. Well, one thing that came from that is the amount of comments which have come in, which have been incredibly positive, is incredible. So thank you for the positive comments. Thank you for the ones who just say they're enjoying the channel. Thank you for the ones who say that there's the good things around here. Yeah, I could write a book on anywhere in the world about bad things. That's easy to do. We can always pull out the bad things. But overall, when you're looking for something which is outside those day-to-day things, I can find very, very little wrong with being over here at all. And I've stopped trying to even think about it, to tell you the truth. I'm just enjoying the experience of being in a beautiful place, even if it does rain occasionally. I can live with this, to tell you the truth. But yeah, I'm just enjoying being in a beautiful place and spend my life out here. I'm going to be very happy next week. My better half is coming out, and so we're going to have some time together, which is really nice, because she's only out for a week or so, but it's the first time we've seen each other for 2 months in the flesh. So I'm really looking forward to having the wife out here and sharing the experience a little bit. So for those of you who've been asking, yes, she is coming out next week, but she'll only out for a week and then going back home. But she will be eventually coming out permanently to live with me, but that's further down the line. Thanks also to the people who've been coming along to see me when I've been doing my gigs. I know that the little gig updates aren't necessarily for everybody on the channel. I totally understand that, but the channel's quite wide as well, so I don't expect everything on the channel to appeal to everyone. But a few people have asked me to keep them informed, so rather than hide them away in these videos, I'm just doing these little updates which will be online until it happens, and it'll be gone. But everybody who's come out to see me in the gigs and came over and said hello, I really appreciate that. I really do. I think the whole thing of people coming and saying hello when they see me out, I've had a lot at the English Rose Cafe on the harbour front, which is somewhere I frequent. If you're anywhere in the Cafe Nero up in King's Avenue, I'm quite often in there. I sometimes go to the Tea for Two. There's a couple of Tea for Twos that I go to, and people have seen me in there. So if you do see me out, please don't hesitate. Come across and say hello. I love meeting people. I'm lousy on remembering names, so never be offended if I forget your name. usually within 30 seconds of you telling me. But I'm always delighted to see any of the viewers on this channel come over and say hello and let me know how they're getting on, either with their holiday or their journey towards citizenship over here, or if you watch it and you're actually already resident. There's a lot of people who in that position who I've met, up at places like Pier when I've been doing Harris Bar and things like that. And all those people, I really do appreciate your kind wishes and your kind words. And the pleasure is actually mine meeting you as well. So anyway, a few other bits and pieces. I did the video about the 5 things that I was missing. Somebody said buses. In Britain, I don't miss the buses in Britain. I don't know what it's like where you are in the UK. But up in Cumbria, where I'm from, the bus service is frankly fairly pants. Don't tend to go too late, fairly infrequent services, and they don't particularly serve the community that I happen to live in, which is a very rural community very well. Whereas over here, the bus service I think is fabulous. I live in the Paphos area. I'm only speaking about the Paphos area for the buses. But you can jump on a bus and go point to point for a couple of euros. If you want an all-day pass, a 24-hour pass, I think it's about €6.50 for the day, and you can go anywhere in the Paphos district. That takes you from the harbour front all the way out past Mandria and places like that, but also up towards Polis and Latch, way up the top. So it's a huge area which is covered. The buses are plentiful, and they are very, very easy to navigate your way around. If you are going to be coming out on a holiday here and you don't have a car and you're going to be out here for a full week, well, take some photo ID to the Tomb of the King's bus station, because if you do that, you can get a 7-day pass for, I think it's €25 if you take a photo, 35 if you don't. But at €25 for 7 days, if you're going to be using that bus every day, then it's real good value for money. So take your passport or your driving license, anything with a photo on, photo ID, because what they do is they just scan that photo and put it onto their card. So it really is a great little bus service in my opinion. So I actually like the buses out here. They've even got bendy buses. Never been on a bendy bus. There must be the ones that Boris Johnson introduced in London, because I believe they're getting rid of all them, so they'll probably send them across to Paphos. That's what it is. Somebody also mentioned about TV. Well, TV, I had to be very careful how I answered this. Somebody asked me about sports on TV. Is it easy to get hold of? Right. Yes. You've got the normal Greek Cypriot TV channels, which are there. But also, if you've got something like a Fire Stick or an IPTV box or something like that, which are available in almost any of the TV shops over here, I believe. I don't watch TV. I don't watch mainstream TV at all. I certainly don't watch mainstream news. I tend to watch YouTube more than anything else. But I do watch it on the TV. But I watch YouTube, watch a bit of Netflix. But you can get this IPTV if you have a Fire Stick, and I believe there's other ways to get it, which basically will give you all the UK channels and all the Sky TV channels and things. I believe it's illegal in the UK. I'm not sure if it's legal out here. I don't really know. I don't have one. But at the same time, they are readily available and very, very easy to get hold of. So that's my answer. Do I condone it? No, I don't condone it. I think it's terrible. So yes, that's the situation. But can you get all the British TV channels out here? No, you can't. Anyway, moving on to the next. To the next thing. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I'm quite down actually. When it comes to sitting in the rain, I get quite down about things, because there's always things you can do. But having said that, over here the rain is so infrequent that it's actually something of a pleasure actually, because it's not cold. It's cooler than it has been by a considerable amount. But you know fine well that the reservoirs are going to be filling up a little bit, tiny bit unfortunately, because we do have some real problems over here at the moment with the reservoirs being just about empty. So any rain over here is welcomed. And this is unusual actually, because quite often you get a rain shower for maybe half an hour, and it disappears. Usually when you get this as well though, it's usually accompanied probably at night by thunderstorms, which can be incredibly impressive. So it just depends. We are living in an island. We're living in an island over here with very, very different sort of weather patterns to what you get in the UK or mainland Europe. Now, speaking of mainland Europe, there's also word going around that Cyprus could be part of Schengen. How do you pronounce that? Drop us a comment below. Is it Schengen or Schengen? Drop us a comment. Let me know how the correct way to pronounce that is. I've never actually bothered to find out. But seemingly Cyprus is all lined up for going in that in 2026. And that could cause even more problem for the Brits who are wanting to come across here. Because obviously once we're in that, it's an open passage towards mainland Europe as well. Because at the moment Cyprus isn't in that. It's got its own borders and it's still passport control to come and go between those. That will change under Schengen. And for the Brits, that makes it a more difficult thing. Now, the other thing for the Brits, you see, is I know of several Brits who have places over here, but also on mainland Europe. And of course, the 90-day rule, you can come over here for 90 days out of every 180. It's the same as on mainland Europe, but it's different because you could come over here for 90 days and then go to Spain for 90 days, and then back to the UK, and then back to here, and back to Spain, and back to... So you can do that. That's perfectly doable at the moment. Once it gets into Schengen, though, that won't happen because your 90 days on here will also be counting for mainland Europe. So it's going to cause some big problems for people who flip between the three areas, between the UK, mainland Europe, Schengen area, and Cyprus. So if that's you, start looking into how you can get around that now, because it could cause you some serious problems, especially if you own properties in a couple of those countries. Now, one thing that I do find, though, is the misinformation or the less timely information over here. I've been doing a lot of research, obviously, because of going through residency, but there's so many people have different opinions, and a lot of those are because there's been changes done in Cyprus over the last few years. So where somebody may give you some advice, it's usually based on something which is out of time. It's, for instance, there was a big change just recently because the EU clamped down on Cyprus giving citizenships away to people coming in with millions. So they changed an awful lot of the restrictions and the types of residency on that. So if you are looking towards a residency over in Cyprus, again, like I've said several times, go and see an expert. Go and see a legal expert and an immigration expert, because they're the ones who will keep you on the right track. I've heard all sorts of things about yellow cards and pink slips and F-type residencies and things. Yet, when you look at the Cypriot government website, they don't match. So, I'm not going to start giving you advice on here. I am actually putting the dossier together, which will be available as a kit to actually allow people considering it to see the salient points. So keep watching this channel. But that's not ready yet. And what I want to do with that is just to make sure that everything is correct at this time. So be very careful, especially when you're talking to people who've been on the island for a few years, because what was relevant for them now has changed. They've had some big changes over the last 5-6 years, since before Brexit came in officially in 2020. Things changed considerably. So when you're getting advice from people who are on the island, they're not lying. They're giving the advice as to what it was like for them, but be very careful that things really have changed. So go and see one of the red tape or the immigration services, because they will help you considerably get the right information for what's pertinent now. Now, somebody in one of the comments did say, well, you've been living on the island 2 minutes. How can you be giving advice out about moving there? Well, basically because I'm going through what it is now. People, it doesn't matter. I didn't move here 16 years ago, but 16 years ago was a very different experience to what it is now. I mean, I remember coming to Paphos. The first time I came to Paphos was 2001. And it's unrecognisable compared to what it was then, from in that 24 years. So from 16 years ago, this place has changed noticeably. The standard of living, even in the time that I've been here, there's different houses going up, there's different things opening, closing. It's a very different scene. So in reality, yes, you can report on some of the long-term things that you've seen over here. But for me, it doesn't matter what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, except for the mosquitoes, which will bite my leg again. It doesn't matter what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago. they're not really relevant to me. I'm looking as to somebody coming across here in 2025, and I'm reporting on what happened in 2025. And remember, this is meant to be a journal. It's not an advice channel. I'll try and give you some advice if I come across things, but it's a journal of what's happening to me at the moment. And I know from talking to other people that, you know, if they're considering coming over, it's what's affecting them now. You know, if you look at house prices and rents, they've gone through the roof recently. So what happened a few years ago is neither here nor there. But now it's become a lot more expensive. So yes, I do take your point. You know, if you've been living here a long, long time, you have a different story. But I think what I'm saying as well is just as pertinent to anybody considering coming across in 2025 as your 16-year history is. So not dismissing it, it's just different. Now, the other thing is as well, I had a few people asking me, what's special about Cyprus? Why not Spain or Portugal or somewhere like that? What have you got against them? Well, I've got nothing against them. I've got friends who live in both Spain and Portugal, and very, very happily. But it's not me. It's got advantages. It's a much shorter journey if you want to go back to the UK or travel out to Spain or Portugal. It's a much shorter flight, half the flight time. And it is different sort of living. There's a different attitude to things. There's a different way. And again, even within different places in those. But for me, Cyprus just hits nicely. So, and you know, I'm not doing path to Barcelona, I'm doing path to Paphos. So it's a bit daft me talking about why I'm not emigrating to Spain on a channel where I want Paphos. But at the same time, you know, I don't have a problem against them. I don't have an issue with going to those. And if that's what suits you, then please go for it, because that could be your start of a fantastic new future. That could be your paradise in the Med, or your paradise in the North Atlantic, or whatever it is. It could be your sunshine state. But for me, Cyprus, well, actually, sunshine state is pouring down the rain. Cyprus is my sunshine state, and this is where I've chosen, and it's got big advantages for me. Yes, the travel's harder, but even then, it's not much different to getting from the other side of London up to Cumbria than it is getting from Cyprus to Cumbria, in both time and hassle. So it's not really a big problem. 5 hours of flight out of my life is not an issue. But at the same time, this has got some really big advantages for the lifestyle that I've chosen for me. Well, you can probably tell by the noise in the background that the rain's coming down further, so I'm going to cut this video to an end. Thanks very much for watching it. Bit of an unusual one, but I thought I'd just do a little bit of a face-to-face blog, just to bring you up on a few things. But hopefully by tomorrow we'll have a bit more sunshine, and I'll be taking the camera out and getting some more fantastic shots of Paphos in the sun. But anyway, till the next time, thanks very much for watching the video. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and hit the little bell. Tick the all on the little bell to get notifications of every time I upload a new video. And if you have a look in the description below, you'll find that you can buy me a coffee if you'd like to. And there's also, if you have any sort of things for about how I make these videos, I'm going to do a video on how I make the videos. I think it's probably a good idea. But if you're interested in the camera I use, anything, there's an Amazon affiliate link. If you use that, that also helps the channel too. But until the next time, keep on enjoying your path to Paphos. This is Brian saying, see you next time. Bye-bye.